Gather round, hunters, and welcome back to another episode of Starfleet Command. Orion Pirates Plus One. I'm Admiral Tirk in the battleship Devourer, as we continue our campaign against the Romulan Star Empire. And right now, we are cut off and nearly have an opening where, if our allies move in, they will prevent us from being able to rejoin with the rest of our empire. So I'm going to cut the intro a bit short because I'm worried about this. Oh, good, we're here. Hi, mission. Surprise reversed. Excellent. I was really worried about this from the last episode. In fact, the last episode was recorded rather recently. So I've been meaning to pop over here and do this as quickly as possible because I don't know what will happen if the Empire actually gets cut off. I don't know if losing that tile will suddenly mean we can't conquer the rest of the galaxy, and that would be tragic because we can't then declare a war against the Gorn or the Federation, whoever actually takes it, to get our tile back because we desperately need it. So we're going to come back here, do a little bit of secure work, and then head back on down. We are currently working on assaulting the planet of 239, the current Sentinel of the North, I believe was the term that I was trying to come up with, for the entirety of the Romulan Star Empire. If we manage to capture that, well, we're just smashing our way down south at that point. There's still Romulus and Remus, which is a pretty hard nut to crack, but other than that, they'll be down to like 3, maybe 4 planets in total in their territory, which is a pretty good position for us to be in. So, we are currently fighting a frigate, another frigate, another frigate, another frigate, and a frigate. So we're going to pick the biggest looking frigate, which appears to be this one, although this is not a big frigate. This is also not a particularly large frigate. None of these are very powerful or large frigates. Oh, we've got one of these. This is actually an X-type ship. So you are clearly the most important frigate. Let's engage with our armor missiles. We'll follow up with a follow-up from all of our other weapons and completely annihilate this vessel so they can no longer disturb us or get us risking to, well, have problems with YouTube. Not to worry, we're not actually monetized by YouTube, so they really wouldn't care. So, I don't think I've ever been in this assault position before on a surprise reversed. Normally we come in from the side or from the front, but never quite this angle, I don't think. Maybe I'm just confused by the giant, gorgeous nebula on the horizon, but this definitely looks like a new angle. Or maybe it's just a different setup of ships, I'm not entirely sure. So we're just going to accelerate over the rest of this group and, well, smash them into the ground. They really can't hold off against us if we don't want them to, and, well, we don't want them to. So opening fire with phasers is just enough to shatter one vessel. We'll come around over here for this SNP+, packing a G-type plasma torpedo. Ooh, this one has 2 Fs, though, so more important target. Engage with the disruptors. We have a couple of missiles and MIRVs, so we will spend them judiciously to destroy the enemy. This one is actually, he really was the most powerful. So this one was the one that was actually fairly dangerous to, well, everybody, I suppose. He's got 2 G-type plasma torpedoes, which means he's got longer range weapons than this little guy back here. So I must put a little bit more attention on him down. Whole bunch of missiles smashing on top of him, and wasn't quite enough to shatter him. Oh, nope, the last one was. Didn't quite notice that it was still heading on in. So we've got 2 vessels remaining in the rest of whatever you might call this fleet. And then after that, we'll have hopefully grabbed the tile. And because it's completely surrounded by Federation and Gorn and now Marak vessels, and we have it tied on both ends with a planet, that should be a good enough tether for us to hold it. So we're going to launch a couple of missiles over there. We'll also follow up with the C-Rex. And that way we get a decent spread of missiles slamming into him. He doesn't really have much in the way of defenses. Phasers are probably going to be enough to knock out this K4. Maybe not, but it is only a tiny frigate. So, perfect. Come over here. And disruptors are almost ready, so we'll slow down a little bit, give the disruptors some time to charge, and if they can get ready in time, they might destroy the ship first. Nope. Disruptors really can't destroy anything, unfortunately. They're just not very good at it. Pardon me. Yeah, disruptors, excellent for plinking, excellent for taking systems offline because they get to roll a whole bunch of times when you're shooting them, but not very good for annihilating ships. Alright, so our lines are once again secured. Let's head back up to the front where we can continue our focus on 239, where I really want to pay attention to. Now, we should actually stop home for additional reloads and ammunition. We're currently at 8,754. We were promoted to Admiral recently, and if we were to trade in our ship, we would get 5,221. That might put us in BBX purchasing range. The BBX is 13. Ooh, no, it's a bit too close. I wouldn't want to risk that unless there's like a 100 cost ship. There's a 1,000 cost ship that I thought for a moment said 100, but no, it looks like we'd have to pay out a little bit too much at the moment. So it is just beyond our grasp. We're going to have to take a few more missions just to secure things before we can actually pick up, well, the most powerful battleship that's not a fighter battleship. And the reason why we want it is because the BBX has more missile launchers than the BBM. or the BBVX. So that is our intention moving forward. We do have 2 squadrons of fighters, which can actually bring quite a lot of firepower to the table should you actually use them. But we would prefer to have the more missile launchers if we go all the way up to BVV or BVX. There's 3 dreadnoughts that I'm thinking about at the same time, and well, one is the BBX, one is the BBM, which we have, and one is the BBVX. So a monster or diplomatic delivery, I think the diplomatic delivery has more interesting options going on here. Sure, we could fight a monster, which could end up fighting the intergalactic dreadnought, in which case, oh my god, we don't want to fight that. But diplomatic deliveries tend to be a little bit more solid, and we are currently fighting a pirate light cruiser. Interesting. Since this is territory that we did siege from the Romulans, clearly we are sending a diplomat or possibly an overseer to this planet to manage it now that we've finally captured it and taken it away from the Romulans. And apparently the Romulans have hired the pirates to kill him. I don't think the pirates quite realize that we're carrying around our diplomats inside of battleships today, so they're going to have a very, very bad time. However, depending on his armament, I may try and do this a little bit differently. Because right now we're at full loads. We have full ammunition, we have full shuttles, or maybe not actually. How many shuttles do we have? Did I forget to reload those? No, I didn't. Okay, so we have full ammunition, full shuttles, full everything. I'd rather not have to spend any consumables, i.e. missiles. So, depending on what this guy's armed with, I may just fight this energy only. To be fair, we don't have the most amazing energy armament for a battleship. Oh yeah, we're doing this. Absolutely. We don't have the biggest energy armament for a battleship. We really don't. A grand total of 12 phaser X or 12 phaser 1s, 8 phaser 3s, and our 10 disruptor armament. Sounds like big numbers, it really is, but I believe the Federation battleship has 14 or 16 phaser X's, or phaser 1s that become phaser X's with the X upgrade. And the B11 is just, I'm fairly certain it's 16, might even be 18, because the B11 is just on a scale bigger than everybody else. Well, the Federation BB is really good. So we are a little bit light when it comes to energy armament. And 10 disruptors, again, sounds like a big number, but at the end of the day, it's a disruptor. It's not going to do a whole heck of a lot. I mean, at most, we deal, I think, like 4 or 5 damage out of the disruptors if we're at point-blank range, and the point of the weapons is to use them at distance. So, not a tremendously wonderful piece of equipment. It's designed to run people down, or to slowly blink away at them, and then after you've knocked down their shields, to slowly blink away at the open shield until they cry. So we forgot to set up our forward shield, so we've taken a little bit of permanent shield, well, not permanent, but longer lasting shield damage. So we'll go maximum shield reinforcement, maximum electronic countermeasures. We only have 2 disruptors, 4 phaser X's, and a pair of missile rack Bs to contend with, so this should be rather easy. Make sure that our point defense system is off, because we have a built-in AMD that we don't have to worry about actually using our heavy phasers in order to take care of this guy. So we're rather close, so disruptors, and now phasers. Didn't kill him, but we did a pretty good job of it. Oh, good. I accidentally hit the X key instead of the C key. X would have launched us more shuttles, or specifically a scatter pack had we had it loaded, but the C key controls our emergency defensive tractors. So we're just going to slowly haul it around. We really don't need to control much of this. I'm not even going to bother unloading anything. We are going to slow down a little bit, and as soon as the phasers come around again, we'll probably rip him apart. I mean, we did destroy one of his phasers and apparently a couple of his disruptors, because he does appear to be repairing that, although we may just have wrong information. No, not from this range. We know exactly what he's got. Okay, phasers cut through. Shut off the defensive tractor beams. Make for the planet and set green alert. Didn't have to spend any consumables, so we have no reason to go back home. We can just head right for the planet, drop people off, and continue on to the front to the planet of 23-9, where our presence is truly required. After all, the entire crux of the Northern strategy is to secure the northern forts, of which 23-9 is one of the most important. Actually, I think 21-9 was probably the most important because it was kind of more centralized in the line. But 23-9 is definitely holding the anchor corner of their empire. We take that, we're going to start rolling them up pretty gosh darn quickly. So we're going to angle a little bit away from the planet. We don't want to smash into it. Planets, of course, do exist. They are collidable objects, unlike most other things in this game. Planets and asteroids are the things that you can crash your giant battleship into. You should generally try to avoid that, though, as battleships tend to be rather expensive to replace. Alright, so let's get our overseer and drop him off on the planet. Excellent. And begin our turn. Make sure that we are not collision with the planet too quickly. And I think, yeah, we've achieved a stable orbit. A rather close, stable orbit. That way everyone on the ground can admire the size of our missile launchers. That's the plan, anyway. Alright, 280 prestige. Yeah, you can't really expect much. I mean, we were able to use our energy armament only to bully that guy out. Shipyard assault or patrol. I gotta admit, I don't really like shipyard assaults. They tend to be very frustrating and somewhat irritating missions. So we will take on the patrol and red alert, and apparently it's just a single freighter. Oh, please tell me it's just a single freighter. If that's the case, we're going to stay out here longer because I'm not going to bother with anything other than my energy armament again. This is an FEL. I'm not quite sure what that is, but we'll find out soon. As soon as the probes are ready, we will launch one towards him to figure out exactly what sort of systems he has on board. All right, let's not be stupid. Maybe he's being escorted by a whole host of other things. And to be fair, his position over here kind of makes me think that there's 2, maybe even 3 ships in total in this group. One in front of us, one to our starboard, and one to our port. That, of course, being the freighter. Although normally... Oh, there it is. It's another freighter. Interesting. This is an FEXCL, which is basically one of their old warbirds, their War Eagles. Or maybe not. It's one of their old warbirds that has basically a gigantic cargo container beneath it. It's got to be a bit of a depressing assignment. You were once the pride of the fleet, and now, well, you haul rubber dog things out of Hong Kong. Or, you know, the Romulan equivalent thereof. Clearly this is a screw-up duty. Let's fire a probe to find out exactly what this freighter is armed with, because I'm frankly more worried about him than I am of him. I believe he'll have like 4 phasers at most. But you might be packing twin plasma torpedoes, and those can hurt. They'll be plasma Fs or Gs. But no, he's got 2 phasers. A phaser 2 and a phaser 3. This is decidedly one of the worst ships in the entirety of the Romulan Navy. We should be able to cut him down in no time at all. Let's check our probe status, because we're going to launch another one off over at this guy and find out if he's packing anything particularly dangerous. Also, make sure you don't hit the asteroid. Asteroids are bad. Asteroids, like planets, actually exist, and you can smash into them. I would not advise trying it. Well, if you do, just save before you do so you can come back. Unless you're feeling particularly suicidal, in which case, please seek help. So, oh, we have... No, that's the other. I thought we had a third vessel who was going to jump up on us, but it's... Oh my god. 2. Really? 2 phaser X's. So honestly, he's more heavily equipped than this guy. This guy's only packing a phaser 2 and a phaser 3. This guy's got 2 phaser X's. Oh, potentially he could do like 28 damage if point blank range and overloading the weapon systems, which is a lot of damage. He deals almost plasma torpedo strength damage, I think, if I'm remembering those numbers right, because I think it is like 14 point something if you overload a phaser X at point blank range. So let's open them up with disruptors, and then let's fire the phasers. You survived. I'm impressed. There's not much of your ship left, let's be completely honest. You're, in fact, starting to bleed speed quite badly. We're going to slow down even more, just because we can. And we're going to, of course, not make use of the missile launchers. In fact, I'm going to increase the speed time, because it's a bit mean of us to just continually sit here and toy with him, as we do. Disruptors, please. There we go. We made our disruptors kill something. We're going to turn away from the asteroid, that way we don't actually accidentally hit it. We have a tail disruptor that we can fire twice. Unfortunately, can't hit either of those times. That is a true shame. However, forward disruptor battery crews, a little bit more accurate. Particularly, although then again, there were a lot more forward disruptor crews. So I think we've got him. We've managed to damage him quite heavily. He's doing his very best for the Romulan Empire. The Invenio, we will of course remember the ship, after all the captain was quite so brave. Blast him with disruptors as we pass through. Oh, he's down to a speed of 2. More disruptors, down to a speed of 1.9. Phasers didn't actually finish him off there. Will the disruptor battery crews get the prize for destroying both vessels? Yes, they did. So disruptors were the weapon of choice that we ended up winning with. For all that I make fun of them, apparently they're very good at destroying freighters. I think I'll leave them to that task and save my phasers for the battleships. So that should be a relatively cheap mission. I mean, I can't imagine they're going to pay us much for it. Yeah, 136. Yeah, you can't really expect much more than that. We'll pop over here. High ISE. Let's try not to anger them too much and go to war with them. A planetary assault is always a fun time, assuming you don't get into too far over your head. Although hopefully the Gorn or maybe the Federation will send some help. Oh, look, we have a Gorn BCS, the Protector. Was the Protector on our side last time? I do recall a Gorn BCS being with us on a couple of missions recently, so that might be him. Wait a second. Plasma type R, plasma type R, Whoa. I didn't think that was possible. Have I just never noticed this before? So, this guy's packing 3 R-type plasma torpedoes. For reference, the King Condor, the largest, most powerful plasma battleship in-game, arguably, Although I think that's a pretty accurate description based on the plasma battleship part, Gorn having better phasers. Has only 2 plasma R torpedoes. Now it also has 3 S-type plasma torpedoes and 2 F-type plasma torpedoes, so you got a lot of plasma. But I've never seen a ship have 3 Rs. Oh, this ship deserves a special model, something with 3 gigantic cannon barrels to represent the torpedo tubes. In any event, we're fighting a K9, which is a light dreadnought sold to the Romulans from the Klingons. It's equipped fairly decently, actually. I think it's 1 R, 2 S's, 2 F's. It might be even less than that, actually. He will, of course, have an R torpedo. All Romulans do. Yeah, 1 R, 2 S, 2 F. So let's conduct our bombardment. He does not have D-type plasma torpedoes, which makes him exceptionally vulnerable to what we're about to do to him. The K-10s, less so. The King Condors, even less so. King Condors are just nightmarishly powerful in many, many ways. We're going to kick up our speed, go up to a maximum electronic countermeasure, as well as some defensive shielding. This guy could hurt us quite badly. If we play around with him too much, if we don't pay enough attention to him, he could very much maul this ship. And that's actually a problem that most races can do to us. So our battleship is nimble, it's fast. I'm not sure it does super well when it comes to armor. We're pretty maneuverable. We only spend 2 points of power when we try and move. There are battleships that spend like 2.5 and 3 points of power just in order to move per step. I'm fairly certain that's accurate. We only spend 2, which makes us really, really nimble. Wait for it, wait for it. Okay, the ship has been hit, I assume. Engage with first. So, because of that, we're very much more the fast battleship style. We really shouldn't be getting near our enemy. We should be sprinting around them, playing against them. But if a ship like this, like even from this range, I'm going to turn away. I'm going to give respect to that plasma torpedo. I mean, from out here at a range of 30, it's going to deal almost nothing. In fact, let me grab the pamphlet right here. The Starfleet Command Volume 2 Empires at War Special Weapons Handy Chart. A Plasma R torpedo, and just make sure I'm not going to crash into anything. Plasma R torpedo would deal, at a range of 30, 1 damage. Literally 1 damage is what it says, at a range of 30. So we did a pretty nice amount of damage to him. We just did 180. Did not take out the shuttle bay. That was kind of my hope. However, 180 damage is 180 damage, and he did just fire it on the BCS. And those 3 Plasma R torpedoes are going to slam right into him. Oh, cutting right through his defenses. You have pseudo frigates on top of that? Oh, the next time we do a Gorn campaign, we've got to get this ship. Someone remind me, because this is a beautifully designed vessel. I'm a huge fan. All right, so the Defender has been taken care of. Onto the planet. The planet is actually undefended. Well, not undefended, but it's a PL-10 or PL-0. So unless this is the super ultra death amazing planet, which there is one, which is loaded so far to the gills with heavy weapons that you simply cannot penetrate it, we're going to have a just fine time. Let's pick up the speed a little bit more. We're going to get up to 24, so we're cruising at missile speed. That way we can launch our missiles on top of each other, get a nice good stack going. Slow down the speed of time, just so I can see if I can't get my stack going. So, first salvo going out there. We are now at a speed of 23. We will accelerate up to a speed of 24, and we're going to sit here for a bit. Now, normally I'd immediately start to slow down to let these MIRVs get ahead of me, and I keep forgetting that, well, there's no reason to do that. We're stacking 2 MIRV salvos on top of each other. Honestly, we're stacking 3 if we can manage it. So we're going to hang right on here, and this will be perfectly fine for us. Assuming we don't hit the planet, of course. Hitting the planet would be very, very painful. So I'm going to set up to fire a second salvo. If we do so outside of a range of, well, very shortly, actually, we should be just fine. So, second salvo, right on top of the first. Although we should honestly be pulling a little bit farther up because the missiles do drop back a bit when they launch their MIRV. Well, when they scatter out into the MIRVs. So, we're going to try and get one more salvo down, and then we'll start breaking speed really fast so that we can get all of our missiles to follow up this massive wave. Already, we're looking at 24 missiles here. We're going to turn this into 36 missiles, plus all the additionals that we can get up behind this. So the MIRV is almost ready, and we are going to start slowing down very shortly. Oh, because flying towards planets at full speed is terrifying. All right, hit the brakes. So, dropping the brakes down to 0, preparing for the immediate follow-up. And this would probably not be a tactic we would use very often against a fully powered planet. Purely because the fully powered planet would be blasting us with 8 phaser 4s as well as an additional set of 8 of the heaviest weapons of the nation, which for the Romulans would be 8 plasma S torpedoes. Those would hurt, let me tell you. So we're just going to slowly cruise on in here. Oh, it's gorgeous. Is that not beautiful? How much planet is left? Just out of curiosity. 7. People survived that. Holy crap. I'm impressed. 6 disruptors. 5, 4. And I assume these plasma torpedoes will end it entirely. 3. 1 more. Perfect. Send to the Marines. So, yeah, that worked out rather well. Show me the Protector again, because I am so drastically impressed with this vessel. I can't see the vessel now, but that's okay. 2 Ds, 3... Wait a second. No, there's your third R. 2 Ds, 3 Rs. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10 phaser X's. That is monumental. Oh, that's a beautiful ship. When we do the Gorn campaign, we're going to have to remember that's an amazing ship. I like that a lot. So, we have successfully managed to capture the planet. Oh, well, not actually. The Empire defense is down to 10, though, so that will be shortly. We're up to 9,000 prestige. We're starting to get really close to that point where we could buy a BBX. Or, because we're now finally into Romulan territory, we have a foothold here. It may behoove us to wait around until we can get the heavy bombardment cruiser. An XCB can carry an absolutely metric ton of missiles. But those decisions will have to wait until we can deduct, because that's going to do it for today's episode. I've been Tirak. If you like what you've been seeing, hit that like button and subscribe. If you want to see a notification every time I release one of these videos, press that little bell icon, leave a comment, and I will see you all in the next episode.